guys, Tomboy601, and today we're taking out the Z35, the Z35, and there's a multitude of reasons for it. One, well, Z35 currently on sale in the store. A bunch of German ships are, and I do think Z35 is probably my favorite German premium out there, so I figured show off a game of it. But more importantly, I wanted to show off my new Bay. You know, the one you always love. And no, I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about the brand new Erich Bey because, well, he received a little bit of a makeover this past update. Basically, his base trait got changed. One of his skills got changed, and he also got added an additional skill. So we're going to go over the new Bey, my new Bey, talk about the trade-offs that are made and what I'm doing. Spoiler alert, guys, I think the German Commander rework is one of the best things to come to this game in a very long time, and I hope this is the beginning of them doing this sort of work for every single tech tree line, because if they can do that, you know, they're doing some good. That's all I'll say. Anyways, Erich Bey, first thing you need to know, the thing that you probably most know him for is his base trait, which helps destroyer concealment. It has been nerfed by, I believe, 1%. I know. Big change. Anyways, max concealment you can now get with him with a 16.4 is only 4%. What that equals out to in all actuality is probably about an extra 0.1 to 0.2% detectability on your destroyer. For those of you running, you know, the hyper concealment builds, I'm sorry that it is gone and you've lost it, but guess what? It equally affects every single destroyer. So you're gonna survive, and if anything, it may help you survive, because if you're the Shima or any of the Japanese destroyers that see, oh, at the start of game I run to cap and cap, like, hey, guess what? You'll now be 0.2 kilometers further apart. If both of you've lost 0.1 kilometer, you'll now be 0.2 kilometers further apart from the other destroyer when he inevitably spots you and is a gunboat. And guess what? You have a better chance of survival now. So really, it's a buff to stupid players. Okay, that's a bit mean, but all in all, I don't think it's that big of a deal, just because it's a universal nerf to pretty much every single destroyer. So if anything, it's just going to spread that sort of stuff out just a little bit. It does make it a little rough on, like, those boats that have very short range torpedoes, because I don't think anyone got like a torpedo buff. But that being said, cool. What else changed on good old Erich Bey? Well, the top slot, Observant Rage, which is the one I use all the time. First thing that occurred is the torpedo detectability range. Instead of being 15% boost, it's now been reduced to 12%, which is unfortunate. The rudder shift time increase kind of got a shift in the way it scales. So initially it was 5% if you had it upgrade between 1 and 3 of the fillings of the circle, and then it jumped to 10%. Now it goes 4, 6, 8, 10, depending on the rank, which honestly, that's probably a better system overall. You still get to the same max number, and that kind of incentivized you to get to like the 3 to keep him not maxed out, but whatever. That's that. The final thing, and it's the thing that you probably use this perk for, that was just they reduced the maximum amount of reduction it gave to your reload boost. So previously it would reduce your reload by 8%. It now reduces your reload only by 5%, which, you know, is a fairly big reduction. And it didn't only happen to Bey. This is a universal nerf to every single destroyer that runs it, usually your gunboat destroyers. So that's a bit unfortunate. I guess they wanted to close the gap a little bit between the gunboat destroyers and the other destroyer, and, like, you know, your hybrids and your non-gunboat destroyers. So I'm a little disappointed at that, but hey, it is what it is. The final thing, and the real thing you need to talk about with good old Erich Bey, is his brand new skill, Torpedo Royale. What this is going to do is it's in the final skill slot. It's going to boost your torpedo speed by up to 2%. It's going to boost the damage of your torpedoes by about 6%, or by 6%, and it's going to boost the torpedo detectability by a max of 100%. And that's pretty good. And really, you have to kind of compare it to what else is on that lower level. Previously, I was someone who would use Smoke on the Water that boosts the smoke dispersion and linger time by about 8%, which is about, like, I think it's like anywhere between 3 and 8 seconds for the Germans. And of course, the Germans, they don't have the strongest smokes on the game. They're what I would call passable. They're not great. They're not the best, but I don't think they're the worst either. So, you know, you could boost this, which was, you know, probably one of the weaker actual traits of the Germans, of the German destroyers. So you could go with that, or now you could have the option to boost your torpedo damage. And honestly, I think the torpedo damage is the way to go. There's a couple of other things that are really nice. Of course, whenever you're adding torpedo detectability range to anything, you have to be a little bit considerate. But overall, based on my like paper napkin math, basically the torpedo speed and the torpedo detectability about even out. At most, you're looking at like a quarter to a third extra time that someone will have to, a quarter to a third of a second extra time in order to react to your torpedoes. And for that, you do get that extra speed, which is always nice. Because if you remember, speed is one of the key things in torpedoes that helps you hit, right? The less time someone has to react, the less time it takes the torpedo to run the length of its course, the less chance someone has an idea of, oh, wait, no, I'm going to hit the brakes, or I'm going to shift left and right. Torpedo speed boosts are incredibly, incredibly powerful. And then adding an additional just boost to it even more of just damage is even more powerful. So overall, I think the new Torpedo Royale skill is going to be the way you want to run this. It's going to be the way that, you know, you're going to be most effective, I think, running it overall. But, you know, maybe I'm just wrong. You'll have to try it out and see. So that is the new Erich Bey. I'll go ahead and put up my total build. I mean, we've been showing it off throughout this video, but you can see kind of the build I go with. Sims and Leviathan for a ton of extra health, just because I like to slug it out with the guns, and Mortif to help with those guns even more. Like I said, I'm a big gunboat person, so hence this build, and we've kind of gone over everything else. I think the only thing we haven't talked about is going to be the middle two skills, which are Twist and Track and Mortar. Twist and Track, I think, is one of the most important skills for a destroyer. Really helps you suss out where people are going. But more importantly, at least for the German destroyers, because of course everyone now does have that perceptive skill. But for the German destroyers, I think Twist and Track is very important because the gun rotation speed isn't the best. So being able to reduce the amount of time it takes to swing that gun around, it's going to be helpful. Awesome. So that's everything I wanted to talk about Erich Bey, which took up a good chunk of the video. As you can see, we're in I would almost call it a close game, but I'm not really concerned about where the outcome is ultimately going to end up going. We're going to dump these torps towards the New Mexico. We were tied up within the ships, but we were able to successfully eliminate their destroyer. Also, they have an incredibly weak not Plymouth, Pensacola that we are just kind of waiting for, because if we can go ahead and hit him as he pops up on the radar here as we start to engage us in Mexico, I'm like, oh wait, you're who we have the AP loaded for. Let's see if we can go ahead and try to Citadel. Z35, just one of my favorites. Just like I said earlier, I think it's one of the best. But as far as the tactics of what are going on here, we're going to try to eliminate this Pensacola. There we go. He's all set. Now, our team can just kind of concentrate on eliminating this New Mexico. And as you can see, we still have a fairly decent smoke linger time. It's well over a minute, which you're going to see is more than enough time for us to be able to farm out this New Mexico, get our torpedoes on reload. That is another part of Z35 and a lot of the other German torp boats is you do have a fairly short, or usually on the shorter side as far as the torpedo reloads go. It's usually the Alpha Strike that is missing from German torps, and you can see New Mexico doesn't really stand a chance. So we're going to go ahead and try to find the little bit of health that is still left up in that American superstructure somewhere. If not, we'll take the burn kill. But there we go. We eliminate him. And at this point, as much as I'd love to go for the Kraken, we have a gentleman just being chased to the moon. And I'll be honest, I'm grinding credits. So at this point, the XP play says, just go ahead and slide on into C, and we'll go ahead and take the extra XP, because, yeah, we're not catching up to him. But, yeah, guys, that is Z35, and more importantly, that is the all-new Bay. I will say again, I think this German commander rework is one of the most impactful things that they have done for this game in a very long time, and I hope it is a taste of things to come, because like Mueller, the cruiser commander, I think is now better than any premium paid for commander. If they want to do that for every single thing, go right ahead and do it. Make it a choice between premium and free to play commanders. I absolutely love it. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.